It is October 17th, 2021. It's Sunday, and if you are a consistent listener, if you consistently listen to the podcast, if you're a journeyman, that's what I'm going to call followers of this podcast. If you're a journeyman, put a comment below. If you're a journeyman and you listen to this podcast consistently, then you know I did not post last Sunday. I recorded. Oh, did I record? But it ended up just being a fucking nonsensical, angry rant about Dave Chappelle and the controversy and black and trans and gay and white and, you know, the shit that I would normally talk about, but it was just an emotional, incoherent mess because I was frustrated. God damn. All right. Because I was frustrated or whatever. In short, the way I feel about that, and I'm just going to move on from that, is, you know, people are allowed to be offended as long as they don't silence him, which they did not do, then I'm good. Yeah, there you go. That's my truncated feelings on the subject matter. But I did finally get to go on stage at the Comedy Bar. The process of signing up for their open mic is a mess, man. It's like they post randomly, I guess, on their Instagram story, and then you gotta hope that you do it. But normally it's at midnight. I signed up at like 5 a.m. I don't know. Either way, I got put on the mic for what was it? Would have been Tuesday. I got put on their Tuesday mic. It was also this new thing they're doing called the Tomato Throw Show, where the audience gets these like soft fake tomatoes, and if they don't like your performance, they throw them on the stage and or at you, and then whoever gets the least amount of tomatoes wins like $50. Whoever gets the most gets to come back. And I went hard in the paint. You know, I really went for all of the tomatoes. I wanted to leave that place like I was just at a farmer's market. The audience, so I go in there and I do the black material. That was the intention. I was going to go in and do that no matter what. And I was looking at the audience and I was like, oh, well, this is not going to go well. A bunch of old Midwest white people. Like when you live, it's interesting, man. When you live in a city, when you live in the city like Chicago, or especially like Pilsen, I'm living with Mexicans. You mostly see Mexicans, and then I have to go places to find other races of people. But it's the city, so even when I'm around white people, it's like liberal, you know, hipster coffee drinking white people usually. And for whatever reason, just the Midwesterners came out in full effect on Tuesday. And I'm doing my set, and I say the things I say or whatever. And I got this big laugh on this piece that I do where I say the N-word. And I do all that, and I basically chastise white people for being racist, because that's what I do, because I need the anger validation. And that it was funny. It was interesting because that got the biggest laugh and reaction, and then that was when some people started throwing the tomatoes, which I found really, really interesting. That they decided to do that after that moment, because before that I was doing fine, like, whatever, some laughs, they were engaged or whatever, but it was after that point when I guess they got their fucking feelings hurt, was when they decided to throw tomatoes. Which I thought was funny. And I didn't get enough to like lose, air quotes, and I didn't get enough to win. It just is what it is. But it was cool. I'm excited to go back and I'll tweak some stuff, and hopefully the audience will be a little different. But I'm coming to realize, like, I'm gonna have to learn how to. I don't want to change for any given audience, but I do have to adapt. Like, that's what I've been doing in the Southside mics, which I'll definitely get into again. There's just an adaptation that has to be done. There's like some tweaking. It's really hard to explain. It's just a completely different vibe. Like Johnny Gold, if you listen to this, I know you commented on one of my TikToks saying, like, I think he said, like, it's 2021. It's not black mics or white mics or non-racial or whatever. No, dude, it's it's pretty fucking segregated out here. It's black mics. Like, for real. It is black mics. It is white mics. There's no Mexican mics. I haven't really seen many Mexicans do comedy out here, actually. Seen Colombians. I don't know. Maybe that's a regional thing. But so I gotta continue to learn how to tweak that, but I think I'm getting better at it, which is cool. And I went to this new mic that got posted on the Chicago open mic Instagram. I think it's called 100 bar 100 or something. I get there early because it was on Taylor Street. For context, Taylor Street Tap. That's the mic that I do every Monday. Is literally right down the street from it, and it's not north or south for me. It's like adjacent. It's adjacent to Pilsen. So if I keep going east, then I'd eventually hit the mic for the most part. And I get there. I'm really early, and I'm waiting. I'm just sitting there. I'm sitting on the ground, and this dude comes out, black dude, and he was like, "Hey man, bouncer's gonna be here, man. You know, you're gonna have to move or something." Like, I looked like a vagrant. I had my backpack and my fanny pack. I had a skateboard. My hair's my hair. I'm sure I dressed like a hoodlum, and I was just sitting there waiting. He probably thought I was riffraff or whatever. And I told him I was a comic. He said, "Oh, okay, all right, man. We'll wait for the bouncer." And then this other dude came, Pat, which, oh, shit. Okay. Okay. But actually, before I get into this mic story, so I'm going to start I ordered another mic, another microphone for podcasting. And I'm going to start talking to like interviewing comics or whatever that I meet out here. Partly because I think it'd be interesting content, and I think it would get more people to listen because I'm an attention whore. And the other part is just to actually make friends. Like, when you're in your 30s, how do people in their 30s that don't do a thing make friends? Because I really couldn't understand it. Like, if it wasn't for doing stand-up comedy, I'm not going to make friends with other substitute teachers. They're like 40-year-old white ladies. I can't imagine that. How do you got like intramural volleyball teams or softball? I don't know. That's why they have sports for not successful athletes, just so people can be. It's like an excuse to be around each other, and that's how I'm going to look at the podcast. It's just an excuse to meet other comics and get to know them and make friends or whatever. Because I'm lonely. Okay, actually, I'm not that lonely. I'm good. I've been real good actually when it comes to all that. But so I met this dude. I met this dude Pat, and he's gonna be the first guy I do the podcast with. So I'll leave it at that on a cliffhanger. I'm excited for y'all to hear Pat. So I'm hanging out, and Pat's black, and we're just talking a little bit, and then the one of the hosts, somebody came in who's producing the show. It was another black dude. And then it clicked to me like, oh, I'm at a black mic. Like, this is like, I had to completely shift my thought process about this because I was at a black mic, and I'm telling you, man, it is completely different. Here's what it is in Northside mic. Northside mic is comics shuffle into a dive bar. Usually the dive bars, it's like long. Like it's not wide, it's long. And you're trying to like keep the back of the room paying attention. Usually a few comics, maybe like 15, 20 comics. Oh, that's not a few. Actually, goddamn. That's a lot of poor jokes being written. But there's, comics, maybe a sprinkling of some random people, 3 or 4 people. And the host comes in and does however you sign up. And then you do your, 3-4 minutes for some other comedians. And then you go to the next mic or you go home. Or you hang out outside or whatever. Like, it's very low key. Pretty low energy. Um, it feels more it feels really close to like a writing session. It's like you're doing a writing session on stage. At Southside mics, Black mics, from what I've seen so far, they're shows. It is a fucking performance. There's a DJ. In fact, yeah, no, there's been a DJ every single time. And when I say a DJ, I don't mean some motherfucker with an iPad who clicks play awkwardly. Like fucking wiki 1987 flat top DJs. And they got flyers and there's a stage. There's always like a stage somewhere. They got drink specials and they got bouncers and people get pat down and like people pay to get into these open mics. It is a fucking show. They put it on like a show and I love that shit. It adds pressure. It makes you actually give a shit and try. And I mean, you get to perform in front of people. You get to see if this shit actually works. I like doing Northside mics to say the words out loud. It helps to say them out loud. And I go to the South Side and I say, oh, okay, well, let's see if this can be done in front of an audience. Granted, black audience, completely different than white audience. Dude, fuck, I need to get more audio of this shit and splice it in or something because it is completely different. So I get there and I realize like, oh, this is a black mic. All right, so we're gonna be starting very late, which we did, and packed audience, packed, man. Like I don't know how to describe. I don't know how they pull this shit off because I don't ever see advertisement for it. It feels like there's just some sort of underground railroad system in the South Side where people whisper and pass notes. Like, hey man, there's gonna be a show at 100 Bar on Wednesday at 8 p.m., which means come at 10 p.m. It's like, it's crazy. And so I do my set. I got to go up first, which was dope. I do my set and I got a good reaction. People, liked me. They said good job, whatever. The I think it was the host, one of the producers came up and was like, hey man, good job, really funny, want you to come back, yada yada. But I still have to keep going over this fucking annoying hurdle of clearly not being from there. I have to keep being like, yep, from the suburbs. Yep, I know you're picking up on that. Yep, here's my joke acknowledging that. All right, now I can get to my fucking material. Thank you. And it's annoying because it feels like it's this extra thing I have to deal with every time I get on stage. Because in a big part of comedy, you have to kind of acknowledge whatever's going on mentally in the audience. Whether the audience realizes it or not, they're noticing things. They're like collectively noticing things. Sorry, the cat was grinding up her shit box over there. Scratching at it. Anyway, they notice things. You have to acknowledge what's being noticed. And the only thing that they ever notice is that I'm from the suburbs or I'm not from around here. And so I have to keep fucking acknowledging that. And that's getting on my nerves. So I'm trying to figure out, how to approach that, if there's something I can do different. But it was great. It was great. I really do feel like I'm getting the flow of things. And speaking of that, that was on Wednesday. And then I went back to Laugh Therapy, which I think is going to become my workout place for Southside mics. I really love it. Just Niece is a great host. That's the other. Yo, these Southside hosts are fucking killers, man. All of them. I have not seen one of them miss. They all have to go up to this difficult ass room, this dead room. Like the beginning of the shows are always dead because there's nobody there usually. People are coming like 30, 45 minutes, an hour and a half late. I've seen people walk into the show with 10 minutes left in the show. And somehow these hosts pull this energy out from people and they ride this wave. There's this comfort that is so impressive. every time. I'm fucking up her name. Just niece. I swear to God. Oh, and I'll make this one the clip too, and I'll tag her in it, and she'll be like, "This nigga can't come back to the mic. You're done, Aaron Chase." So, um, so I go to the laugh therapy mic again, and this time they're doing a competition. So it is they picked the first 10 of us because then there was like 30 comics that eventually signed up, but they picked the first 10 of us, and it was admittedly it was a bit of a mess, a little disorganized. No offense, people didn't really know how it was working, but they're tweaking things, and so it ended up being audience decision and judges decision. They had some judges. I think I went up like third. Actually, before I even every time I go to the laugh therapy mic, I fucking embarrass myself in front of somebody. This time it was fucking chicken wing again. If you ever listened to this, sorry, I don't awkward. I don't know what to tell you. I was sitting there in the corner, just being in the corner, and the door lady T, she comes over and she's like, "Hey, you go talk to people. Go introduce yourself to people." She said something like, it's like kindergarten. You just go talk to people. And in my head, I was like, that's a bad idea for me to do. I should not be trying to start any conversations here because it's gonna get weird. It's gonna get fucking awkward. I know it is. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like nervous. I'm like, all right, maybe if I can relate, I'll figure this out. And dude, Chicken Wing comes in, and he says what's up to me, and dap it up or whatever. And it clicked to me that I had saw him the mic prior. I saw him at the Wednesday mic, and he said what's up, but it didn't register me that was him. And so when I realized that was him, I was like, oh shit, okay. He said hi to me twice. This is it. This is my in. This is all I need, baby. He said hi to me twice. Clearly, we're gonna be best friends. And so I went over to him. God. Have you ever bombed off stage while trying to meet somebody? Like while introducing yourself, just ate shit while saying, hi, my name is? Like, I said, hey, man, by the way, you were at the mic yesterday, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, man, I didn't recognize you. Yeah, man, yeah. I smoke a lot of weed. And he looked at me like he wanted to wash his hands after he shook my hand. It was fun, and I sat down and I was like, well, cool. This is it. I'm gonna shut the fuck up again. I'm gonna go back to strategy number 1 when I first got here. I'm gonna shut the fuck up and not say things to people. And I got on stage. I acknowledged it, and he laughed or whatever. So I think it's fine. I don't know. But I do my set, and what I'm noticing so far is there's pockets of people. There's like pockets of people that get it. And in these pockets of people, they're not even necessarily from like the suburbs. Like it's really interesting. I'll get on stage and I'll be performing, and it's like most of the audience, they're listening to me, but they're not laughing or whatever. And then there's just these little groups of people that for whatever reason, I don't know what it is I'm doing, but it resonates with them and they really get it. And there's one judge in particular who had my battle. I wish I got her name, but she was laughing. She was like, he's funny. No, he's really funny. And she seemed a little surprised, a little insulting, but she was like, oh, yeah, she's funny. Okay. He's funny. Yeah. And I get off. I don't win, obviously. And before I left, I went over to the judge. I said, "Hey, just thank you." And she said, it was really good. She said, really intense too. She was like, "Hey, you are funny. Like, she looked me in the eye. She made sure I understood. Like, ignore all these other motherfuckers that clearly aren't getting what you're doing. You are funny. And she kept saying, she just said, you are funny. And I was like, God, this is a nice, I need this. Please just follow me. I want to put you on a keychain and just follow me around to every Southside mic every time I go up, just in case. I can just like poke your belly button. You are funny. Anyway, the other thing that happened, which is making me wonder what these people's perception of me is after I got off stage, just niece. Oh, I swear to God, I hope I'm saying that right. She was like, she's riffing on me or whatever I was saying, and she was like, yeah, man, we gonna nigga you up. That's what she said. we gonna nigga you up. You gonna get some more Chicago in you or whatever, which was super endearing. Like, I'm excited about that. Like, I'm glad that I seem to be being embraced as like that weird. I feel like I'm being embraced in the way that I'm like that like a weird kid from out of town who's like, this is not a metaphor. This really is. I'm just saying. This is podcast. This is what this podcast is. You is free. I hope you subscribe, comment below. Anyway, but she said that, and she said something like, yeah, we're going to change your clothes and we're going to get you some pussy. And it makes me really wonder what the fuck these people think of me, because if you know me at all, of all the issues I have, of all the things I'm not good at, of all of the problems that come out when it comes to me, getting pussy has never been one of them. It really hasn't. And that's not even like in a cocky way. That's in a fucking objective way, like to an unhealthy degree, to be honest with you. So I'll probably acknowledge that again on Thursday. But she said that, and it made me wonder, like, what the fuck what's going on in your guys' heads when you see me? I got my hair done yesterday, and I had this similar reaction. I got Ashley is her name. Anyway, Ashley is her name. And doing my hair, we were talking a little bit, and I said, like, something about race got brought up and that I was not from around there. And she's like, yeah, I could tell. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, I've never met a person like you. Which I think is a compliment. I don't know. Because I don't know exactly what was going on in her head movies. When she said that, she said, I've never met a person like you. I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you look, like, I've just never met anybody like you. And I didn't know, and she's like, I didn't know how to, she said she was like intimidated by me a little bit. I think she said intimidated, which I don't know. I really have to think that through as to why that would be the case. But it just makes me wonder, what the fuck are these people, when I get on stage, what are these people thinking about me? Because it sounds like like she just said, she's never met anyone like me. It really sounds like none of these people out here have ever been around a black person like me, or a black person from my situation. And I was telling Ashley about, what I had gone through or whatever. And her eyes were, she was shocked by it. It seemed like she couldn't believe that you could live in the suburbs and be in danger in that type of way. It's a different type of danger. But it was interesting. It was interesting. I guess ultimately it's, there's one more thing, but ultimately it's good. It's really good. I've been enjoying my North Side mics and getting to go up and just say things out loud and figure out ideas, and then I bring that to the South Side, and I'm working it out there. I can see. I don't know. I'm first off, I'm really happy that I'm going back and forth. I don't see much crossover when I go to these mics up north. None of these motherfuckers are going down south. None of them, from what I've seen. And that's not a judgment thing. It's just like a observation. None of them. Like, No, well, no, Mike. I did meet Mike. He was popping back and forth. But I didn't. I don't see them down there. And then when I go to the south side, I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen you guys up here, and you guys would probably do well. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how they would do. I see. Either way. What I'm trying to make sure I can do it all. I want to be able to do the south side. I want to be able to do the north side. I want to be able to do the east side, west side. I need to be able to touch every little avenue. But from what I'm seeing, I'm being embraced in a more direct and open way in the south side. It's aggressive. I never feel comfortable, but that's kind of why I came out here. And and they pay you out here. They do competitions, they hustle, they make flyers that are admittedly tacky in my opinion. Nobody can make a flyer like George, for real. Shouts out to George Ferrito. But there's in the south side there is a hustle to it where it's like we need to earn money. We're not college students that do this, once we get done with our homework or whatever. We got to finish a final, then hit an open mic. Like, these motherfuckers need money. And they set themselves up in such a way where they can do that. And so I think I'm not trying to rush anything. I'm not saying I'm definitely not ready for earning money in that way or whatever, but I'll get there. I'm going to keep grinding. And it leads me to the last part, which I talked about a little bit in the TikTok, but it made me so fucking happy. So the very first time I was at Laugh Therapy, I started off with the worst possible crowd work. I probably came off like a pretentious goddamn DC villain. Like, I probably sounded like what was his name, the bald one who fights Superman, even though there's no way he could beat up Superman because he doesn't have superpowers. Fuck is his name? It doesn't matter. Bald man. I was just super pretentious. It didn't get laughs. It was awkward or whatever. And he was heckling me a little bit, but not in a mean way. He's clearly like trying to have fun. And that first night, he came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, just so you know, like, I'm not, I was just fucking with you, just having fun or whatever. Like, you funny, you funny guy, and like, just keep doing your thing." I said, "Thank you, I appreciate it." And this last Thursday, when I did the competition or whatever, as I was leaving, that same guy came up to me, him and his buddy. He came up to me. He's like, he was really excited too, big old smile on his face, and I recognized him. He said, "Hey man, you getting it? Like, you're finding the rhythm." And his buddy was like, "Yeah, dog, you was really funny, man. You're real funny." He's like, "Man, you're finding the rhythm. I see it. I see you getting better. I see it already." And he was so excited and like happy for me. And then he said, and I said it on the TikTok, but he said, "Hey, you are home. You're home." It felt like he had been listening to all these podcasts and he watched the little comedy special and he understood that. I don't know what I've been saying on stage that made him get that, but he understood that, like, I am trying to find home, and he was like, "You are home. This is home. You're home. You did it. You're here. Now you just got to get comfortable. You got to kick your feet up, and you got to pull the armchair back and relax a little bit and grab a beer, but, like, you're here. You're home." And, Black Panther reference. It's a little dark, actually. When you see Killmonger looking out at the very end, at the sunset, and it's like he made it. He made it home. He died immediately after that, which is kind of ominous. But, you get the point. You got to interpret it with positive intent. He said you are home. And fuck, did that feel good. It felt amazing. So, yeah, that's what's up. I'm hitting the mic tonight, and I finding my groove, man. It's I know I keep saying this, and it's funny, like, documenting things in this way. This is why I want to do interview stuff, so it can change this podcast up. But documenting it in such small increments on a weekly basis it feels like a lot of repetition. Like, if I did this podcast monthly, then maybe there would be a different kind of response to things, but it's just little baby steps. And That's why I call you fans the journeyman. Yeah, listen, share, like, comment, the whole thing. Till next time.